What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, here with my esteemed co-host Isaac from Hunger Smash Fitness, and a guest panel, a star-studded guest panel this evening. We have Phoebe Torres Fisher, Liz Demato, and Willie Wessels, the founder and president of United States Strongman. Welcome, everybody.
Happy to be here.
Thank you.
And we're also waiting on John Albrecht, VP in USS. So we're here tonight to talk about a big announcement. But why don't we tease it a little bit? So Willie, tell us a little bit about how was USS founded in the first place? What was your brainchild there, and kind of what's the mission?
Well, real simple. I used to run North American Strongman, the other company, which has since changed their name to Strongman Corp. I ran that for 10 years. I inherited that company from Bill Holland out of Fort Worth, Texas. And with that, I kind of inherited some of what Bill took, and then I expanded upon it. Then after I left that company in 2012, I founded USS in 2014, and basically with the objective of doing something similar but better. And that's kind of what we've done.
That's fantastic. And then how did you come up with kind of the split out of having reps in each state? Like, how does that infrastructure work? Because I know, Liz, you're the New Jersey rep, and Phoebe, you're the Virginia rep. So kind of how does that whole structure work and interplay with each other in the kind of grand scheme of USS as a whole?
Well, the fact that I live in St. Louis, Missouri, I obviously don't know Virginia as well as Phoebe, or I don't know New Jersey as well as Liz. So they are my eyes and ears in those states. So they represent their state. They run their state, they represent it. So if someone in their state says, hey, Phoebe, or hey, Liz, I want to have a show in New Jersey or Virginia, they have to talk to them first before they come to me. Or if they come straight to me, I send them straight back to their state rep. So they can work out details, dates, make sure shows aren't overlapping each other, make sure they're picking the right weights and the divisions and the weights that fit those divisions. So yeah, they're my eyes and ears across the country.
Awesome. And quick hello to World's Strongest Blacksmith in the crowd, Tyler Haynes. What's up, Tyler? Thanks for supporting us once again. This is going to be a great one. Bring all your best questions for our guest panel today. So, yeah, Liz and I were actually talking recently kind of before this ever came up, because I live in New Jersey. So we were thinking about doing some collaborations together as well. So really excited for the potential for that in the future. Liz, how did you first get involved with USS and kind of with what Willie has put together?
So like many other people, I did come into Strongman by way of CrossFit. So one of my friends kind of put me in contact with a CrossFit gym that was in my area. This was prior to me having my daughter. Got very involved in that. Right before I got pregnant with my daughter, I started testing out some of the Atlas Stone events, some of the tire flips, kind of fell into those WODs as ones that I loved. So after I had my daughter, I spoke to my strength and conditioning coach and was asking about, like, how do we do this just all the time? Like, I don't want to do the gymnastics. I don't want to do as much of the cardio and the running. And he said, well, there is Strongman, like a real Strongman. So I actually got connected with Cale Beck, who we all know from starting Strongman. He kind of pointed me in the direction of some local gyms that do Strongman. And my first show was New York's Strongest Man and Woman, Todd Giorgi's show, and I've just fallen in love ever since. So that's been how I started.
Awesome. Yeah, Cale's a great guy. It's a kind of a small circle, right? I got connected to Cale Beck because I interviewed Jessica Fithin, so it's kind of a small circle there. Phoebe, how about you? How did you first get involved with USS?
Well, I kind of came in similar to like how Liz did. I was a fitness instructor before. I got into CrossFit around like 2009, 2000 time frame. And then in 2012, I joined Brute Strength Gym, which is like this legendary powerlifting and strongman gym in Norfolk, Virginia. And immediately I was attracted to strongman because it was like a strongman mecca. There were just like groups of guys, groups of, just basically you just got sucked in. And like it's something like somebody challenged me to do the circus dumbbell one day, like, oh, come over here, you CrossFitter, I bet you can't do this. So I went over and I just got it on the first try, and they were like, okay, you're one of us now. So like, I just kind of got sucked into it. That was 2012, 2013. I had my first competition. I took first, and immediately I was like, I'm going to nationals. I met Willie there, and actually I think I met you at my first competition ever. You judged for me. And then at nationals, I saw you again. I took third that year. just, brand new, took third place, came out of nowhere. No one knew me or anything. From there, just kept on competing. And then the opportunity came up, after Willie started USS, the opportunity came up for me to become a state rep, because I've been coaching and training and competing. And I kind of messaged Willie. I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And he was like, yeah, if you want to run shows and stuff. A year later, he was like, hey, do you want to do this for real? That was in 2018. And I've been Virginia State rep ever since, and the only one. And it's just been fantastic. It's been awesome. I love the sport. I love what Willie's doing for women in the sport. I'm just happy to be a part of this, whatever, supporting his ideas and whatever it is going forward, it's just been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That was kind of one of my missions too. I felt like the women's portion of the sport was underserved, so I've been trying my best to bring a lot of attention there, as has Isaac, and definitely we're aligned there for sure. Kudos to you, Phoebe, though, for being naturally good at one of the most technically difficult events in circus dumbbell, though. So kudos to you.
It was definitely the CrossFit background, I have to say. We did a lot of clean and jerks, so that was like, I can do a one-arm version of that.
There you go. No, I'm terrible at all this stuff, but I like circus dumbbell. I just do it with a fat grip on a regular dumbbell, and I was just totally terrible at it until Leif Engels gave me some tips, and Anthony San Lorenzo gave me some tips, and now I'm a little better than terrible.
Well, I think we're going to run with Phoebe's idea now. We're going to make all CrossFitters come in. They have to do the circus dumbbell first. Then they.
I love it. I love it. That's the new requirement. I love it.
Initiation time.
Awesome. Willie, did you compete at all, or have you been focused kind of on the business side of things? Oh
yeah, I've been competing since 1985.
Fantastic.
Unfortunately, I am that old that I've been around. It's funny you mentioned Cale Beck. Cale Beck used to compete with my company, North American Strongman, and then later, he started Strongman. Jessica Fitton won our 2017 super heavyweight division at USS Nationals, and now is doing all kinds of great things herself. So we kind of have roots that kind of spread out everywhere as we go.
Yep. Yeah, Jessica's amazing. I think everybody knows that. But yeah, that's awesome. So, Willie, when you first got into it, what was your favorite event that just kind of drew you into Strongman more than anything else that you said, I really have to do that?
Well, I can honestly say it certainly wasn't the events. It was the fact that it's athletic. My first contest was in powerlifting in 1985 because Strongman just wasn't available here in the U.S. at the time. And I powerlifted from 85 through 97, got pretty decent at that. And then in 97, if you recall, World's Strongest Man finally came back to America. It was in Las Vegas because Franco Colombo got hurt back in the early 80s. He sued IMG, IMG, whatever they're called. The company owns World's Strongest Man, and won. And they were so mad, they said they would never have it in America again. So they waited a lot of years there, and they finally brought it back in 97. Well, Bill Holland launched North American Strongman right around the same time. So it gave some avenues for people to jump in and do that. Like I said, I was an athlete first, powerlifter second, which kind of tied right into Strongman. So it was pretty, most things were fairly easy for me. It was more the conditioning that killed me at first.
I think you're still muted, John.
Oops.
Sorry, you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was trying to read your lips there. I wasn't quite getting it though.
Yeah, maybe I was talking too fast. I was saying you learn something new every day. I didn't know that about Franco. So he sued over the refrigerator carry injury incident?
Yes, he did. And of course, the Franco, if you ask Franco, of course you can't now, but if you ask Franco back then, he said, I dislocated my knee.
That's why I'm surprised. I remember that exactly. I watched it not too long ago again, and that's why I'm surprised you say that.
Yeah, he's a chiropractor, so he knew.
He knew, yes. See, you know all the good quotes. That's awesome. So should we transition over into talking about how Nationals went this weekend, what your plans were, and how it all panned out according to your vision?
Well, I can tell you, those two young ladies on the screen, were a huge help this weekend. They've actually got even a bigger role in USS now, and we'll talk about that in a second. But USS Nationals, after having a year off, we were supposed to be in Minnesota in 2020. Due to the pandemic, we had to postpone it to 2021. Of course, the restrictions then came out of the books. You can't have more than 200 people at one time. So Tim and I were talking back in January. We're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I said, well, why don't we do 2 sessions? We can still have 400 people. We can do 200 in the morning, 200 in the afternoon. He's like, done, let's do it. And people seem to really like it. It actually turned out pretty darn good. And we had a lot of fun. It was still a ton of work, but the athletes, they got 4 hours. They got to take a break, come back and watch some of their friends compete for 4 hours. So it went off. It really went off pretty much without a hitch. We had a couple stones break, but we addressed it. Everybody still loaded the same amount of stones. So it was a level playing field for everybody.
Yep, I know the stone guy, Andrew, pretty well, so we were talking about that earlier today. By the way, Jacob Fisher in the comments says it's the best contest ever.
I tell you what, we had. Yeah, he better, right? Phoebe, you owe him some money now. No, let me tell you what, that guy, and not just because that's Phoebe's husband, let me tell you what, he busted his butt. I had more people come up to me saying, I don't know who that guy is there. What's his name? The guy with the tattoos on his head. And they go, he worked so hard. Everybody was impressed with his how hard he worked at check-ins and then during the show. Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
Yeah, he's a workhorse, and like when we run our contests here, I mean, he's the same way. You can't get him to stop. He's just like he's got an engine. He just keeps going. It was pretty awesome. I mean, at one point I put my feet up, but
he says the stones weren't his fault.
Yeah, they were not. They were not. I don't think they quite cured enough. And then they had the centerpiece. They had the middle was a little bit too soft, and so when they hit, I mean. The concrete, usually a solid floor will beat a solid stone any day.
Yeah, it's just physics, I suppose.
Yes, sir. But yeah, no, they went great. Tim Kovach and Sue Kovach did an amazing job. Of course, they won't take the credit. They're going to say everybody else did a great job, but they set it up. They brought the superstar cast of judges that we had there, with Chad Coy, David Oslin, Carl Gillingham, Nick and Callie Best, the Dirks. Kim and Ab Dirks. I mean, we were loaded front to back. And then, we had so many of our state reps there. And then people who were there either have, participated, helped out at contests. We had very few novice helpers. So it made everything go off so good.
Yeah, Justin Langhout, who competed there, is a buddy of ours, and he was telling me he met Nick Best. I didn't realize he was a judge. So that's really cool.
Oh, yeah. These guys, Nick came up through my old company. David Oslin came up through my old company. Carl Gillingham, I've known since powerlifting. I think we were at a show together in '94. So, I mean, most of these guys, Chad Coy and I have known each other, I think, since '98 and been competing together since then. So I knew all these guys, and they're all good guys, and they got, they understand what we want as a judge. We want a judge who helps the athletes. And I told them all, guys, you run your lane. You want to talk to all the athletes and show them exactly what you expect in lift. You tell them that, if they're not locking it out right, tell them lock it out. Once they lock it out, then you give them the down signal. So we want to help the athletes do a good job and be successful.
Yeah, Chad Coy was a judge at the Shaw Classic last year too. His reputation is unquestioned, right? An incredibly positive reputation for Chad Coy.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's good to have him around and play. I mean, the guys, yeah,
phenomenal.
Let's see. So Danielle in the comments is also saying it really was the best ever. So fast and organized. Jessica Mitchell. Oh, my buddy Jessica is here. Your buddy too, Phoebe.
Yeah.
Loved how efficiently everything ran. By the way, Willie, I got to say, I love the championship belts. It's such a cool touch. I saw the post with Jessica wearing hers, and I'm like, we've had her on this stream before. I said, I got to have you on again so I can give you like the big boxing wrestling introduction now that you have that belt.
That was something, coming out of my old company. A lot of awards we get, we get swords, we get these little trophies and plaques and stuff, which are cool. Don't get me wrong. They're nice. But man, I'm like, what can we do to up the ante here? And somebody could have something, someone like Phoebe or Liz, that's something they could have. And then when they're grandmothers someday, their grandchildren will be like, is that your belt? 50 years later, that belt's still going to be there and it's going to be really cool looking. So, we use the same company too that UFC and WWE.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the quality is incredible just by looking at it.
I think it was Robert Hughes who won our 181 lightweight division out of Idaho. Yeah. I saw him at the airport the next morning, and he goes, man, I was going to wear it in the airport, but it's just too heavy.
Robert Hughes gives you a big bicep pose. There you go.
Well, the
We
dead
even
dude
had
is-
some of the guys. We even had some of the guys wearing it at the bars that night. We went out afterwards and saw a few of them trying to pick up some chicks with them. So I don't know if it worked for any of you guys, but good
That's
luck.
a new move.
I think I'm trying to remember who it was. It might have been Tim Kobach back in 2015. One of the guys who got one of the earlier belts said they went out and they didn't pay for a drink all night. There's some perks.
I think you're muted again, John. But I was
Jessica.
going to say too, though,
You hear me now?
having a good prize for a competition makes a huge difference. Because I've done a couple comps where you just get this little, like piece of plywood with something attached or whatever, and you're like, that's cool, but it doesn't mean anything. When you have actually something like big, solid that you can wear or that you can show off, like it brings the whole competition to another level.
Oh, I agree. And then we gave out $1,000 scholarship to each belt winner. So there's $8,000 right there that we gave out. So they can compete anywhere with USS contests or USS affiliate contests all over the US and all over the world and get money back.
I'm just interested from a business standpoint, Willie. How do you go about generating budget to kind of, the belts aren't cheap, right? That's obvious.
No.
Like, from a business standpoint, like how do you gather funds and kind of generate budget to be able to give out these sorts of things?
Well, obviously a lot of sponsorships are involved. Initially, when I started USS, most of it was right out of my own pocket because nobody knew who we were. But I didn't mind, and it just generates money. And money we bring in, like we sell T-shirts, hats, shorts, jackets. We can take that money and go out and buy things like belts. We can have prize money at shows. I honestly don't do this for the money. I am a retired school teacher, so I've got a nice pension. So this is actually fun, and I actually do love the sport. And even though I still compete, and that gives us, all of us, actually all of my board members all still compete, and so we get a different perspective on when we make decisions. We definitely think of it from an athlete's point of view. So that's why we go by the hashtag FABA, for athletes, by athletes.
Yeah, definitely a valuable perspective for sure. So, Liz, Phoebe, what are your thoughts on how everything went over the weekend? What were kind of some standout activities or events for you?
I agree that the split going AM and PM worked out really well. We had some awesome feedback from husbands and wives, actually, that one was able to go in the morning and, be an actual spectator, not have to worry about like, okay, my heat's done. Let me run over here and cheer for so-and-so. So a lot of people enjoyed being able to cheer on their friends, their peers, significant others. So that was really great. And I couldn't believe how fast the morning went. Like all of us were like, are we going to take a nap before the next session? Yeah. Like there was so much time, and they treated the helpers so well. The food came right on time because, we all love the food. So we were all excited about being able to take a big break and, get ready for the next session. It just worked out flawlessly. So I give it to Tim and Sue. They did an awesome job.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. I would say the way even the organization of the volunteers and the helpers and the judges, we all had our assigned duties and jobs, and everyone just showed each other a lot of respect and worked really well together. Me and my husband, we worked both the morning session and the second session, which there was a switch in the helpers, and in the morning we were with Kim Dirks. In the afternoon, we were with Chad Coy. Both were just fantastic. The way that they treated the athletes, the communication, it just ran so smooth. I mean, you couldn't really ask for a better show than what we had this past weekend.
That's awesome. And did I read correctly that there were 400 competitors?
We actually had like 450 signed up. And then with people dropping out due to injury, due to graduation. Actually, we had one of our team champions who graduated the night before and then came to compete the next day. And he won. Wow. Cooper. It was real impressive. Funny. I told him he should have wore his robe and cap and gown, all that stuff to the contest. We could have thrown his tassel up in the air or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we can talk to Cerberus and get him to start making tacky gowns, so then you can graduate and then go do stones.
That's funny.
Yeah, you could tell Tim and Sue both with their jobs are kind of project managers because the way it was set up, you could definitely see that.
That's awesome. Yeah, kudos to you for being able to organize something in such a large scale, and to all of your reps for executing.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the pandemic, we probably would have had close to 600 people this year.
How many were there?
Which
last
now
year was canceled. Yeah, you said last year was canceled. How many were there in 2019?
Oh, if we would have had 19, we had 473.
Wow. So it's always huge.
Yeah, and we were on pace to go well over 500. I think in New Hampshire next year, up in Manchester, we'll probably be pushing 500 to 600 athletes.
Wow. And what's under normal circumstances? What's kind of the crowd situation? Usually, you have a decent number of spectators.
Well, in Manchester, the stadium we're going to be in seats 14,000 people. And they're planning on at least getting at least half full. So that'll be a rocking crowd, which is always fun as an athlete to hear the crowd cheering for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe I'll take a ride up from New Jersey. Go watch.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say, are you gonna do like a vendor situation?
You
definitely could. Provide like food and everything.
Oh yeah,
else.
we got with the restrictions lightening up, and obviously by next year they'll be gone. So then we'll be able to do so much more with all the vendors, food being available. It'll be almost a circus atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a road trip. JF Caron invited me to his gym up in Quebec, so I'll hit New Hampshire first on the way, and then right up to Quebec.
Yeah, you got to see if he'll come down. He can come out and hang out with us.
Hell yeah, he's the nicest guy. I don't know if you've ever met him. He's the nicest guy.
He sure is. He is a super guy. I've been up to Canada a few times for shows in the past, and yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah. By the way, we got Justin Manning in the crowd representing Colorado. Cromer representing Colorado. Woo!
Yeah. Justin's our rep in Colorado.
Yeah, we've had him on. We did a Colorado show with Justin, Tanner Manthe, Steve Foshin. Who else did we have on that show? Isaac, do you remember?
Did you have Anthony on there? You guy you were talking about?
Anthony's a buddy of mine. San Lorenzo you're talking about, right?
Yeah, Anthony used to be our state rep. And then Justin took over for him because Anthony got busy with work stuff, all that good stuff.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. Anthony originally is from like my town or very close to it. So I always bug him about when he comes home for Christmas. He's like, I'm going to walk down the street with him.
Yeah, I tell you what. Yeah, he's become quite a little athlete out there in Colorado, and he still comes and helps out at all of Justin's shows. He's usually one of our lane judges.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I heard he's a tough judge. We were talking to the Women of Blacklist. When was it? Like a week or two ago, Isaac, and they were saying he's a tough judge, tough but fair.
Yeah, I think that's why it's so important. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say that was another great show because we did the Women of Blacklist, and so we had four of the athletes from Blacklist on there, and that was fun. That was 2 weeks ago, I think we did that one.
Yep.
Yeah, we love to keep one weight class with one judge all day. We think that's important because now, if a judge is super strict, he's super strict with everybody in that class. If he's real lenient, he's lenient with everybody in that class. I think when you run head to head, 2, 3, 4 wide, now you've got potentially 4 different opinions judging somebody. So one judge may be a little tougher, one may be a little easier, and that could, turn out to cause a few complaints. So we don't want that.
By the way, just going back to the championship belt idea, seems like Jessica had no problems with TSA.
That's great.
Awesome. So
they should have gave her first class for that.
Absolutely. So I don't know. What do you think, Willie? Enough with the preamble? Do you want to go ahead and make the big announcement that we've all come here to hear, that not even Isaac and I know what it is? So we're waiting with bated breath to kind of hear, as I'm sure all of the audience is. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, this all started with talking to my board, and you have 2 of our members of our board right here, our female advisory board for USS, and then I've got John Albrecht and Steve Barkley, my other 2 board members. The 5 of us kind of bounced it around for a while and worked out some details. And then we announced it to all of our state reps. And we got a lot of positive feedback from them and a few suggestions. So once it was all said and done, we came up with the first ever USS Pro class is being launched. We are going to have you're going to have an opportunity to earn a pro card in the United States Strongman.
Awesome.
All the details.
Yes. What are the details? How does this work? When, where does it happen? How does it happen? Tell us.
All the details, John Albrecht, already posted up on the website, UnitedStatesStrongman.com. They are there. He's already launched that. I was surprised I didn't get a couple calls or texts on that already. He did about an hour before we started this. But yeah, basically, with the pro division, it's actually pretty simple the way we set it up. It'll be part of the weight matrix because we do everything through ironpodium.com. We work with Craig and Lindsay Kilgo. It'll be added right onto the weight matrix. Promoters, especially state reps, will be the only ones allowed to do this. Or if it's a non-rep, it has to be overseen by a rep. There'll be one men's class and one women's class. And so promoters can have both, or they can have one or the other. They don't have to have both. There's minimum requirements on the weights. They have to be obviously heavier than the heaviest weights. And look at that. Oh, you guys are on it. They have to be heavier than the heaviest weights that you have on there. You also must have at least 6 people competing in your class to have a shot at earning your pro status. And if you win, you get to go on and compete at what we call USS Pro International Championships, which will be held in August of 2022 in Texas with Rob and Esther from Big Tex Gym. They're going to put up some serious money for that. They're excited. When you go to that show, if you make it to it, you get your pro card awarded to you on the spot. We have minimum amounts of money that have to be given out. And then the cool part is from that show, there's even more. So once you've earned your pro card, for the top 3 women, they'll get invited to USS Pro Women's Worlds in 22 and other international events that I'll be securing because I'm working right now directly with Canada, Australia, and Finland. The top 3 men from that will get invites to SCL shows, Arnold Pro events, and any other international events I might secure in 2022, 2023. So lots of opportunities. These are basically lanes or opportunities for athletes who want to take that. Not everybody wants to, but there's probably at least 10% of our athletes who would like to take a shot at that next level. And this will allow them to do that and make some money while they're at it.
That's big news. So how many men and how many women did you say per year?
Well, here's the thing. There's not a limit. So it's option. So if a promoter like Liz or Phoebe would like to have this division, they can. So we might have, 4 or 5 of these the first year. We might have 25 of these. It's okay. As long as all the criteria is met and no one's allowed to zero. If you zero and you happen to win the show, you cannot earn your pro status. So we're making things strict. We're making them heavy, and we've got certain rules and regulations you have to meet. If you make it to pro internationals, and the reason why we call internationals, thank you ladies, because they're the ones that came up with that idea. We call it that. So then we can invite our affiliates from other countries like Canada, Australia, Finland in to compete. Now you're starting to get that flavor of a nice international contest, which can lead to a lot of things like TV.
So if it's international, do you have to change the name of USS?
No, USS is the company put it on. So it's United States Strongman Pro International Championships. This allows us to bring other countries in. If we just said USS Pro Nationals, then there would be no one from other countries would be allowed to come. But because we added that international flavor in there, USS is just sponsoring the show, but it's going to be international athletes, pro athletes from all over. And all athletes are welcome to try this. Current pros, people who want to be pros, they can jump in there, make a few bucks, get a shot at going to pro internationals. And then from there, they get invited to other shows and they can make even more money. So it's really, the sky is the limit for them.
That's awesome. And then, is there a contest set up yet or scheduled yet that will be the first opportunity for this, or not yet?
No, we don't. At this point, we don't. Since we just launched it, we've kind of kept everything off the board. So we'll see who wants to do it first. Whoever does it first, that'll get the ball rolling, and we'll see how things go.
Isaac, you want to do it first?
I don't know if I'm ready to go there yet, but maybe. Oh, I'd give it a shot, I guess.
Well, and here's the cool part, Isaac. As in USS, if you earn your pro card, you could still compete in any USS show. We don't tell people, all of a sudden you got your pro card, you can't do this anymore. You can do any USS show you want, whether you have your pro card or not. If Brian Shaw wants to come do a USS show, he is welcome to do it.
I think that's a little unfair, though, honestly. Because then it's kind of a gift for them.
I can understand that, but wouldn't it be cool to get to compete with someone like Brian Shaw? Rub shoulders with the champ?
Heck yeah. It's funny, Big Laws, who, by the way, for anybody watching, I'm interviewing tomorrow, thank you very much. He mentioned, if you were to pick the greatest of all time, who would you want to lift a car off of you if you were trapped under a car? And for me, that's Brian Shaw. It's no question.
Oh, when it comes to an American, yeah. I mean, you got Shaw's 1,000-pound deadlifter, Jerry Pritchard's 1,000-pound deadlifter. So you got good company right there. I mean, it's a rarity to see that, and we've got two guys who can do it.
Yep, for sure.
We have an amateur who could do it. Jordan Larson out of Utah. He holds our national super heavyweight record at 1,000-pound bull.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, kid's strong. He just pulled this weekend at FitCon. He pulled 950. He's just getting healthy again. It's getting better. He pulled 950. It was like it was nothing. Look it up. Utah FitCon this past weekend.
Okay, will do for sure. Gabe Pena too. Gabe Pena's US, and he's an incredible deadlifter.
Oh yeah, Gabe's got a powerlifting background. You can tell. He is a strong cat.
Yeah, he's. I wonder if he'll get into. He's a reserve for Worlds. I wonder if he'll get in. Like if anybody has trouble getting in the country or whatever. Yeah,
trouble getting in the country or they get injured. That happens. A lot of alternates get in because somebody gets hurt either in warm-ups or on the first event, and that's all of a sudden those alternates are on.
Yep. Let's see. What's Justin saying in the comments? Keep an eye out for Colorado, he says. Tournament of Titans 2 coming soon. All right.
I think there's a hint there. There might be a hint there for a pro class.
I'm looking for stuff from Liz. Liz, you put on a lot of shows from what I see, so I think chances are we'll see one coming from you soon.
You may be right. Between Pennsylvania and New Jersey, myself and Mike Rusonis really do put on a lot of shows a year. I think this coming year we have about 4. So 1 or maybe 2 of those, there should be a pro class being added on pretty soon. Like Willie said, we've been keeping it under wraps for a little bit. We didn't really want to announce and draw any feedback just yet until we were sure that it was ready. But I know, especially reading some of these comments, I know it may be a little confusing to some because questions like, do you really need a pro card or to even get to that top level? That's a valid question. But what Willie and USS are trying to do is give more opportunities, different avenues to be able to reach that higher level. Because a lot of the feedback we've been getting, within USS shows, local shows, is we want to be challenged. We want something more. We want to be able to, win money in different ways or win different opportunities to go to other countries in different ways. So Willie literally has created a brand new avenue to give athletes at a local level a chance to get that pro card if that's important to them, or maybe kind of rub elbows with other individuals who are already pros and kind of see if their grit can win the day. You know what I mean? So that's really what all this means. It's not about a card per se. It's about that wanting to challenge yourself and just take it to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I'm really on board with kind of opening up a lot more opportunities, especially for the women, because I feel like, at least from what I've seen, there's a bit of a disparity currently. So the more opportunities we can open, the better. And my very good friend, John Greaves III from Garage Gym Life Media is in the comments, and he has a good question. So if someone is a pro in another organization, will they have to earn their pro card, or will they come in as a pro?
Well, that's the cool part. If there's there's already going to be a pro division, say at Liz or Phoebe show, they jump right in there. If they win that, then they're going to get obviously a top prize money, whatever that is. And then they get the automatic invite to USS Pro Internationals. And they'll get their pro card from us there also. So they'll have 2 pro cards.
And it's not automatic. They don't automatically just hand it a pro card. We give kudos to them for getting a pro card with another federation, but this is everyone starts from scratch. Everyone has a chance.
So if Brian Shaw did come in and do a show, he's not a pro. he still has to earn his pro card.
Yeah, I don't think Brian Shaw will be coming to one of these shows, but four-time World's Strongest Man, he's certainly welcome to. If anything, he'll probably come in. We could probably bring him in as a guest judge.
That would be fantastic.
Because believe it or not, Brian Shaw had a lot to do with the development of this. He wanted to see the gap between the top level, like Shaw Classic athletes, and the new heavyweight amateur athletes coming out close. And this is a way to close that gap. And so that gives them an opportunity maybe to get to a Shaw Classic one day.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, there's so many good amateurs. Matt McDougall, for example, is a beast. Albert Brand is a beast. Like these people like that really deserve opportunity. So I'm all for closing that gap as well.
Yep. It just gives them another opportunity to be seen. All of a sudden you're a international pro contest. Wow, that all of a sudden you might beat somebody from another country that Brian Shaw has competed against, and he'll be like, "Well, this guy is actually pretty darn good. Maybe he'll get an invite."
And for women specifically, this gives them another avenue as well. So right now they can win cash prizes at local shows that give it, which, let's be honest, are few and far between. And then they can win it at Women's Worlds, and now they can also win it at a pro local contest, and then go on to the international and win it again. So now that's 3 or 4 different avenues that females are being given that they're not really allotted in a lot of federations, or just in general in strongman. That's not against any other fed. It's the truth. We don't really get that many opportunities. So this opens it up threefold.
And it's a fantastic. What's so great about it too is that it's new. We're starting this. It's something new again, because there are so many new people who've come into the sport. I mean, even just this weekend, there were so many people who, we never really noticed before or really heard much about before. And they were just performing, outperforming. I mean, they were just doing so well. And on that, hitting an upper level, higher level as an athlete, this is a new avenue for them, where, 3 or 4 years ago, there were opportunities that opened up. I think it was a little bit more open back then before it started to tighten up again. But here we are offering a new opportunity to get your name on the board, to earn that pro status with USS, regardless of your history, how new you are, or however experienced you are. And across the board, I mean, masters included. I'm a masters athlete. So for someone like me coming in at over 40 years old, yeah, I've got a reasonable history. However, perhaps I just never had the opportunity to actually earn a pro status for whatever reason. Here's another avenue for you. Here's another way to do it. It's new. It's something exciting. The opportunities and the money's going to be there. One of the things that Willie really kind of, as we were like brainstorming and whatnot, to call someone a pro and then not really, they're not getting paid to do it, yeah, I mean, what does it even mean? What does it mean to be called a pro? In other sports, a pro gets paid to do it, So yeah, there's money, there's pots now, but also the opportunity for them to use that status and that title to do something for themselves. I'm a pro strong woman and a coach, that's going to put you on that just a little bit more visible than someone who hasn't achieved that yet. So, we're excited to offer it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's been a disparity for sure for the women, right? I won't say who said anything or which show, but there have been shows where the men have been paid many multiples more, and I just think it's about time that with these additional avenues that gap gets closed.
Yeah, I mean, USS from day one, the first group we paid were the women. And we've always paid the women more than we've paid the men from day one. And still here we are in year 7 doing the same thing.
That's awesome to hear for sure. Jacob says, is there a minimum of athletes in the pro class? Meaning, does there have to be at least so many in the class to get the status, or you don't get a pro class with only 2 people competing?
6. Actually, it should be on there on that post on the website. And I believe I read that off. You have to have at least 6. If there's only 5, you can still, win the prize money that the show's given out. The class can still run, but there will be no pro status given. Minimum of 6.
Yep. And by the way, Justin beat me to it. He answered 6.
There you go, Justin. Justin knows.
Justin's studying up. He's going to pass the exam.
There you go. It's funny because I actually started the pro system with the old company. It was my idea back in 2001. I sat down with then the American pro representative, Jim Davis, who recently passed away. And we actually hacked out that idea in the first place. And, looking back on that, I knew there were some things I wanted to do better than I did back then. And so now with USS, we have that opportunity. And I've got all these fresh ideas from Liz and Phoebe and John and Steve. And we look at things that happened in the past. We're trying to make them better now.
That's awesome. Let's see. What else do we have in the comments? I think Jacob's talking to you, Phoebe. You're a pro promoter.
He's trying to get points right now.
Yeah. Justin says, let's see. I'll be asking Stan for sure if he'd like to compete in his backyard for it. I don't get it.
There you go. Oh, the Cotton Brothers too. That would be awesome. They're great guys.
Yeah. I've been trying to get Tyler for a while on my show. Scheduling hasn't worked out.
It's those guys went 1-2, I believe. Was that in 17 or 18 at Nationals? And so I was sending first place to Finland in SCL, and they were like literally a point apart. And they're like, man, is there any way I can go with my brother? So I called, talked to the guys at SCL, and I say, I got brothers, and they are freaky strong. Is there any way you can squeeze them both? And they said, send them both. So we sent them both out there, and the SCL has been so impressed with them ever since. You can come back to any show you want.
And by the way, it just occurred to me with the Colorado connection, he's referring to Stan Carradine.
Oh yeah, Stan is. I've seen Stan compete a couple times. That's one strong cat.
Yeah, Stan's a beast.
He judges.
I actually saw him on. We were talking about Garage Gym Life Media. They did a feature on Stan, and his garage gym is awesome. Like he has car deadlift in there, like all kinds of stuff. It's unbelievable. Not unbelievable, but what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's great how much he's gotten out of a garage gym and shown how far you can go in the world, kind of training that way.
Yeah, that garage is packed. Well, you heard about his accident when he fell and he got hurt pretty bad. And so it was not even that long afterwards. There's a picture of him pressing like a 400-pound log, and he goes, "Yeah, it's kind of down right now." I'm like, "Wait a minute, you fell like off a ladder or something like that, and you're pressing 400 pounds the next day? Maybe I need to go fall off a ladder so I can press 400 pounds, right?"
That's what I'm doing wrong. By the way, John says he just shot Stan a text with the link to this, so that'll be great.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, John. Thanks for the support, buddy.
Yeah, he judges a lot of our events out there in Colorado, and he's an awesome judge. He really helps the athletes out.
Yeah, it's funny. I first learned about Stan Carradine in the Mammoth Strength Challenge back in January, where they had some of the pros there. He was there. Travis was there. Bobby Thompson was otherworldly deadlifting there. But yeah, that's where I first saw Stan and like what he's all about and what he's capable of, which is quite a lot. Yeah.
Yes, he is. I've seen him compete in New York. I think he did New York Strongest back one year. I can't remember which year it was, but yeah, he is unbelievable.
Yeah, speaking of America's Strongest, Marcus was at that event too. He won 2020 America's Strongest.
Yeah, I won 2004 America's Strongest.
Did you really? Awesome. That's awesome.
It's like
I should have researched you more, Willie.
I'm going on the 20-year anniversary. I'm going to come back on the 20th year, and I'll be 60, and I'm taking on all those guys one more time.
Hey, listen, if I were competing, I'm Masters age too, so I'm right there with you.
I doubt if anybody from the time I won it would still be around, but it'd be fun. I'd be the oldest guy out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, somebody in the audience here said when you were talking earlier about starting a while ago, he said I was born in 1986 or something. Be quiet, you.
Yeah. Oh, that happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was born in 75. By 86, I had seen like a bunch of Rocky movies already.
86, that's when I graduated from college.
That's funny.
Well, in 04, I was in high school. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a disparity there.
Wow. No, I graduated high school in 93.
Oh, I got a good one for you. When I won ASM, I was 40 then.
Oh, were you? Right. Wow.
And
That's awesome.
I was in my second year of chemotherapy too.
Ah, okay. So full recovery now, I hope.
Oh yeah, it's been 18 years.
Good, good.
I think I
we
was
should.
30. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I said we should talk one time. I have Kaposi sarcoma myself. It's a rare skin one. It's under control, but brothers in arms there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. ALL survivor.
Wow. Well, glad to see you're still with us. Really appreciate that.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So enough with the sad talk. Let's see what else we have in the comments. Justin says, though dang window wells get him. What does this mean? Anybody get what that is?
I think that was in reference to Stan, but
Oh, like something in his garage caused him injury, I guess. Huh. Well, anyway. World's strongest blacksmith, Tyler Haynes, another buddy of ours. This is the clearest I've ever heard it put when it comes to getting a pro card. Thank you, Tyler, for the compliments.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you guys should check out Tyler if you haven't yet. World's strongest blacksmith on Instagram. He does some really cool stuff.
Yeah, we might be friends on there. That sounds familiar.
He's actually putting on a show really soon, so I should kind of connect you with him. You can bounce ideas, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he just sent us a bunch of details about the show that he's getting together. So we'll try and post those one of these live streams. And looks like he's putting a lot of work into it. It looks like it's going to be a fun show.
The best promoters always do.
Yeah, he's awesome because he like fabricates a lot of his own stuff. He's doing deadlifts with tires instead of plates. You know, it's just unique kind of use what's around you to get the job done kind of thing. So that's why I really admire Tyler. Let's see. Justin says, not everyone ages like Willie. He's like a fine wine, only gets better with age.
Oh, thank God my wife likes wine.
Oh, jeez.
Stan fell in a window well. There you go. Thanks for the explanation, Justin.
That was it. I knew he fell into something. I couldn't remember what it was.
Poor window well.
Yo, kid. I guarantee it wasn't in one piece after that.
No way. Mm-mm.
Or maybe he fell and then there was a window well where he landed because he left a big enough dent.
Oh, man.
So John from Garage Gym Life Media is asking, have you had any ideas about when the first pro qualifier will be, or is that TBD? I think we're saying TBD, but maybe I'm wrong. My bet is Liz will have the first one.
I was actually about to say, I think now that we have announced it, you're going to see a lot of state reps either supporting their local promoters, because as Willie said, it has to be a state rep that's doing it. But in some rare cases, you know, we will approve a promoter, you know, who is seasoned enough, who has enough of, you know, their act pretty much together to host something of this caliber. You're going to see that announced pretty soon. So we're really excited to see who kind of steps up and wants to take on this new division that we're adding. But I wanted to see if Willie also wanted to remind those in our audience about nationals and, you know, qualifiers for men's and women's worlds and how that works, because we do have those big shows coming up too.
Oh, yes. Pro Women's Worlds, which will be held by Mitch and Lacey Hughes in Wilson, North Dakota, October 9th. We just had our nationals. If any of the women who podium, that's master. We do it for masters too. Master women, open women. If you podium, they can sign up right now. The entry is on Iron Podium. It's live. It's hot. They can sign up, and order of entry does matter. So if you sign up sooner, you get to go later. You get to watch everybody else in front of you, which can be important on a rep event, right? I don't want to do any more than I have to. Our 82.5 kilo men, their worlds are in Syracuse, New York, September 25th, along with our 105 Master Worlds. So our 165 podium guys, our 181 podium guys can sign up right now. And and also even with the Pro Women's Worlds, both of them, from when we've had podium winners in the past Worlds, they're automatically invited. So with us, once you make the podium in the Worlds, you're automatically, you don't even have to do nationals. You can go straight to Worlds. And then let's see what else. Oh, for the first time ever, we've got the 50+ men's world championships in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with Big Von Segore. That's going to be fun. All the 50 guys are excited about it. Even Chad Coy since he helped out at Nationals, he gets an invite to that. So he's excited. He's been trying to sign up for the last month. And I'm like, it's not even posted yet. You can't sign up.
So is this the sort of thing we invite Nick Best to compete?
Oh, Nick is in there. He's 52. He is in, but I know he's healing up right now from having his lat reattached to his humerus.
I remember that. Yeah.
I don't think he'll be ready by September, but he's hoping to be ready to compete in November. We'll see.
Nick's a warrior. He did a live stream when he was still in the hospital bed, still groggy. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think Callie kind of stuck it right in his face. And he's like, I'm not even awake yet. She's like, talk.
That's funny. So let's see. Garage Gym Life Media says, wait, sorry, this one. Perhaps the first one will be somewhere with a beach and gambling nearby.
He's referencing our show, Clash of Tridents in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
I know, but I wanted you to say it.
Well, and that's another good point Liz brought up. If there's a show that's currently on Iron Podium, if they want to add the pro class to it, they can. I have to approve it first, but we can add that on to their show because we've probably got 140 shows up on Iron Podium right now.
Yeah.
So if someone's interested in their current show, or if they just want to wait and post their next show with it on there, they can. It's their choice. It's an optional thing. Promoters have that option. It's not required by anybody to do this, but if they do, there are requirements on how you do it.
Right, as long as they meet the requirements. Yep.
Absolutely.
Liz, when's your Clash of Tridents?
That is in October. It's actually the same day, unfortunately, as Pro Women's Worlds. Otherwise, I would be at Mitch's show assisting. We kind of coordinated that in a way that I was stuck, with an expo. Not really stuck. I mean, we're really excited to be with them, but I had to kind of tie myself to the Atlantic City Expo, the fitness expo that's happening down there. So I had to have it that day, but we are excited to have CBS Sports Network coming out and actually, streaming all of that for everyone. So, I give my hats off to Mitch and the girls over at Pro Women's Worlds. The following year, I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, that's for sure. The cool, that they want to split the team up. Our team's gonna get split in half between October 9th, between North Dakota and New Jersey. But that's okay. That's why we have a team.
Let's see. We have another question from Jacob. What about the women that won over or men? What about them getting a pro card because they definitely showed the top of the chain of both weights in their class? I didn't quite follow.
I think said overall.
Overall, like Jess Mitchell got the overall middleweight win at Nationals. So I think he's referring to those specifically to the women who got the overall win for their group.
Yeah, he's talking about the belt winners, right? I believe
the belt winners, right?
The belt winners. Yeah. Now we don't have anything in the plans at this moment from this year for belt winners to automatically earn it, but they do get their spot and they got $1,000 to use towards. So if all the belt winners sign up tomorrow for Mitch and Lacey Hughes' Pro Women's Worlds 5, all they got to do is pay it. They send Tim Kovash the receipt. Tim reimburses them out of their $1,000 each. So they've got money to spend.
Simple as that. Awesome.
Yep. I'll be there.
That's great.
And we actually give out prize money to the master women too. I don't think any other company gives out money to the master ladies.
I don't either. That's awesome. That's great that you do that.
Oh yeah, thank you.
There you go. I'll tell Mitch to write that check out to Phoebe right now.
Yes, exactly. For sure. Isaac, do we know any good Masters women? How about Tanneré Manthe? We should get her to go compete.
That's the only one I can think of right now, but I'm sure we've probably had some others that are either there or close to it. So I'd have to look back through our list though.
She would likely compete if Justin put something on in Colorado.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, the hard part, a lot of these master women, you don't even know they're master women. Sometimes I have to check IDs because they look too young.
They're competing in the Open. A lot of them were actually competing in the Open at Nationals.
Yep.
Ken Johnson says, I tuned in too late. What was the announcement? Would you care to summarize, Willie? Is that all right?
Ken, you're buying us all dinner tonight. That was the big announcement, okay? Now, we are adding a pro class, Ken. Pro class to USS. One men's class, one women's class. Details are on UnitedStatesStrongman.com front page.
And lots of opportunities to become a part of that in each state as the reps see fit.
Oh, absolutely. The one thing is, you get to the big show, the big international show, pro women's show. It's obviously tighter to win money, but if more promoters have these, kind of regional pro divisions, you may not be the best internationally, but you might be the best in your region, and you can earn some money that way. It's kind of like when you go to that event, you might be the best deadlifter. You may not win the show, but you'll win the deadlift. It's kind of cool when a promoter gives out like $100 bonus for winning an event. It's like, okay, I'm going to get $100 here. I may not win anything else, but I'll win $100.
They did that at the Mammoth Strain Challenge with the sandbag, but I just think the sandbag started off way too heavy. It was a 500-pound sandbag for the pro men. And,
so they held on to their money, huh?
On that one, they did. Yeah, it was. And you had some heavy hitters like Trey Mitchell trying it, and it was just. I mean, that's it.
We know Trey. Yeah, I know Trey.
Yeah, Trey tried it. Who else? Isaac didn't. Wasn't Wes Claiborne? Was it? Who else tried it?
Wes.
I think it was Wes.
It was Wes, right? Yeah, it was Wes.
Yeah, and I don't because I think were there 3 total that attempted. And I don't think any of them. I think Trey was the one who came the closest. But none of them were able to actually load it.
Yeah, Wes lapped it, but I couldn't quite get it up on the pedestal.
Wes did our Tennessee strongest man. I think it was December 12th this year, and he almost pulled 1,001 deadlift.
Wow, unbelievable, strong kid. Yeah, in many ways with his Viper pressing and whatnot. Yeah, he's strong in many ways.
He is. It's funny too. I forgot to mention at Nationals this year, Tim and Sue held drawings between every event. They were giving like a couple $100, $100 bills, just hand them out. I think your name would get called, and the competitor would be like, "What?" And they'd walk up, got handed a $100 bill. So just because they're there.
Nice. It's like Oprah just giving away stuff to people.
No kidding. I want a car though. Give me a car.
You get $100. You get $100.
It'd be fun if we get to the point we grow enough and we could give away a card to the overall male, the overall female winners at the Pro Internationals. Now, that would be pretty cool.
That would be cool, yeah. Because I mean, like I mentioned, I'm in Northern New Jersey, so I've gone to the U.S. Open tennis quite a few times, and they have a Mercedes they give away every time to the men and tennis.
Why didn't we start playing tennis? Come on.
There you go. Oh, wait a minute. Is Stan Carradine here?
There's the man.
Stan, what's up, Stan?
Stan, we were talking about the story about when you fell, and then you came back like a short time later and only put up a 400-pound log.
So Stan says, so when am I competing? Time and place.
Hey, it sounds like Justin might be the one helping Stan out there, I think.
Sounds like it. By the way, Stan, man, John from Garage Gym Life Media has some pull. He reaches out to you, and here you are. Look at that. I guess I'm friends with powerful people.
The only problem is if Stan competes in Justin's show, who's going to judge?
Yeah.
I can if you need. I mean, I don't know. I'll step in.
We're going to have to bring you in, buddy.
Yeah, get Anthony to judge.
There you go. He'll do it.
Yeah.
Who I wanted to ask you too, because who's the chair for Washington State? Because like I'm out here kind of over by Spokane, and we don't have anything with Strongman related. It's lame. Like there's nothing going on out here. So
Mike Cromer actually just won a Pro Master World Nationals this year. But Mike is the guy. I think Mike's in Kinswick. Does that sound right? Or maybe somewhere. I might be completely wrong.
I'll have to look it up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Mike Cromer, Lisa Cromer. Lisa's a 2-time champion with us. That's what Mike said. I got a belt this weekend, but Lisa still got 2, so he's got to do another one to catch up.
Nice.
It's funny. There's some talk in the comments about Brian Shaw. Justin says that Shaw is considered one of the 14,000-foot peaks in that area.
I would believe that. Hey, I was at the show when Brian earned his pro status with me back, I think it was like 2007 in Utah.
Oh, wow.
He weighed 297 and he pulled 700, but it was everything he had. If it had been 701, he wouldn't have got it.
So he weighed what Novikov weighs now.
Yeah, and I was at the Arnold when he pulled the 1,021. So it's quite the jump.
Absolutely. Yep. That difference between those two weights is about what I deadlift, 3 plates.
Yeah, he gained about 120 pounds and then added about 300 pounds to the deadlift. So pretty good.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's see. Hey, Isaac, Justin owes you some smoked brisket. I don't know why, but he says so.
I am definitely down. I will do a drive for smoked brisket. It's well, actually, because my wife's family all lives out towards Denver, so next time we're in the area, I'll have to hit them up.
Is Spokane west or southwest?
No, so it's east. It's like middle east of Washington State. We're 45 minutes from Coeur d'Alene, if you know where that is.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, this is why I have state reps, because I don't know your state as well.
No, we don't go west of the mountains very much. It's too rainy over there. I like it drier over here.
There you go. Idaho has some really good shows, and I wouldn't be surprised if Miranda Kopp doesn't have a pro class in one of her shows coming up there at Berserker.
Yeah, and I actually just did. I was a spotter loader at another show, and Obi ended up showing up, so that was kind of cool getting to meet him for the first time. I was like, yeah, hey, another guy who makes me look smaller, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, Obi helps out. That's where he trains, I believe. He trains out there at Jay Hagedorn's place. Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool because he came up and he's actually been talking about heading up more frequently and training at the gym that I go to on the weekends. So I was like, oh, maybe I can run into him and get some pointers or something like that, because I'm 6'5" and about 300 pounds. So I've got a long ways to go.
I got to tell you, Isaac, Obi was out-angling you with his head.
His head is massive in real life. I will say that, okay? The dude's head is very large.
Yeah, my wife calls me big head all the time, and then she bet Obi.
By the way, there's a whole arrangement going on in the comments. So Stan's asking, when am I competing time and place? Justin's arranging it for him. So we got Tournament of Titans 2, Stan. I'll find a new judge. You're competing. Stan says, game on. Alex in that category. So there's 2, and I'm sure there'll be a few more to make 6. So it seems like we're really making great progress already. And with a name like Stan Carradine, I'm sure you'll attract plenty of more people there, Stan. That's going to be awesome.
It will be awesome. So there's a west side of the country. Now we got the east side. I should go, wait a minute, over this way. East side, get some shows going, some Midwest, maybe some Southwest. I bet we have a few in Texas coming up. Just wait and see.
Well, all I got to say is Isaac's hooked up with brisket. It looks like Jacob's going to hook me up in Virginia.
Anytime.
Thank you both. Take a drive.
Yeah, Virginia's a little bit far to drive when you've got 2 kids, 2 and under. So, yeah, I think I'll do Colorado first.
Yeah, so Stan says, well, time to get back to training for a comp. Cool.
Nice.
Oh, this is an interesting, it's a World's Strongest Man question, but World's Strongest Blacksmith is asking, what do all of you think of the vegan catering they've announced for Worlds?
That was an interesting post when I saw that.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the athletes are vegan, so I'm not sure if much of the food will be eaten, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting marketing, and not really for this demographic, but I guess we'll see, what happens. I am enjoying the memes for a time, though. It's giving us a new wave of memes at this point.
For sure. No, I mean, I would have expected like certified Piemonte's beef or something like that, but this is the opposite. Ken Johnson says, Midwest, let's go.
Oh, Ken Johnson, our Iowa guy. That's our Iowa rep in Dubuque.
Oh, okay. Welcome, Ken.
Ken posted a show, and 3 hours later, it was sold out.
Whoa.
I'll be at his show July 31st. I think it's we have a record going on there. Right, opportunity for someone to break a record.
In which event is that?
You know, I couldn't tell you right now. I've got so many shows I'm going to. I know what I'm going in for a record. I just know it's a record. I'm not 100% sure. Ken might post that, whatever it is. It might be the 18th deadlift. I'm not sure.
Nice. That's cool. By the way, we talked briefly about Worlds. Do any of you have predictions for World's Strongest Man that might interest the audience?
Well, as long as it's an American, I'm okay.
There you go. I picked a Canadian to win, but okay. Yeah, JF's taking.
I was watching your video. Yeah, John, I was watching your video, and some of the comments are getting a little opinionated. I don't think people like your picks.
Wait, I'm getting roasted.
Not roasted, but people are a little bit. They don't agree with you. We'll just put it that way.
I didn't expect them to. Yeah, I'm sure I. For those of you who haven't watched, I didn't pick Brian to make it into the finals. So I was yeah, I know I probably missed something in prep, and I've kindly asked my audience to just show me where I went wrong, and hopefully they politely do so.
Well, that's
there's a lot of people where wrong. Yeah.
There's a lot of people politely telling me so.
Yeah, it would be hard to go against Brian not getting out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, the Ken's record is a max axle.
Nice. Okay. And when is that coming up again?
That is July 31st. I don't know how much you guys have seen the Iron Podium, but it's an amazing website. Craig and Lindsay run the whole thing, and it's made things so much easier for everybody. So everybody kind of knows where to look now. Once you've been with it, every time you look up an entry, you're like, oh, okay, so I know how to go here, here, and here, and it makes it super easy. It kind of guides you through it. It's fantastic for promoters.
I've used it before because John from Garage Gym Life Media and I worked Central Georgia Strongest Man together, and the results were on Iron Podium. It is a very good tool.
Oh, so you were with Greg and Nicole on that, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
They're awesome. Aren't they a great couple?
They're awesome. Yeah, they were awesome. A great show, too. Fantastic show. And extremely well run. It went, for as much as was going on, it went quickly and really efficiently.
Yeah, I can see Greg and Nicole possibly having a pro division down there.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that was a great show.
Another good thing about Iron Podium that we're really enjoying promoters is the spectator tickets. So that's kind of like a brand new feature that's come out. So it's kind of like an all-in-one stop shop for promoters and for athletes. You don't have to worry about when are they going to put this link, for this opportunity, where's the weight matrix, everything's all right there. So the Kyogos really have knocked it out of the park with that. And we're excited as state reps and promoters that, Willie has partnered with them. So definitely check out ironpodium.com.
Yeah, the live scoring was just fantastic. I mean, it just made it so much easier for me as I'm on the floor to kind of keep track of my athletes. So I knew exactly where they were and how to coach them for the next event and that type of thing. I mean, that's something that wasn't available to us before. And then, before we had to kind of create our own spreadsheets or use the one that was on, Google Docs or something like that. And it got it was a little bit difficult sometimes to change it up and the reordering. If you aren't familiar with that kind of thing, they really do handle all of it. And they even like for us, they're in Richmond, which is only like maybe an hour and a half away from us. They've always offered to come and actually score at our shows, which is a huge benefit, for us locally. But having them right there at Nationals running it was just fantastic.
With live scoring. Oh, sorry. Good.
No, I was just going to ask. I was always wondering, how does the data get into Iron Podium? Like, is somebody doing manual entry on a laptop or something, or?
They pretty much, you have like a way backdoor as a promoter to be able to sign in and input all of that. And Iron Podium's great because they always have someone scheduled on the weekend to help. So one of our last shows in Jersey, there was like a countbacks issue, where it wasn't formatting correctly and there was a glitch. It was on our end, which, they kind of walked us through on how to fix that because, the formatting's a little new for all of us. But yeah, it's kind of like a backdoor entry way of doing it. And then, they double check it on their end and it sorts everything perfectly. It's kind of idiot proof, to be honest.
That's awesome. And Willie, I cut you off. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. The live scoring is, that is what is the best part. So event one gets over, everything's loaded, it's published. You can get on your cell phone and look and see where you're at, how you did. If you're coaching somebody in a show, let's say in Florida, but you don't want to make the trip down there with them. Now you could follow your athlete, call each other on the phone, say, hey, it looks like you did pretty good on that first event. How you feeling for the next event? So it really opens up the communication no matter where you're at to watch what's going on. Families can watch the scoring. And if there's a mistake, which I think we only had like 3 this weekend, but right away an athlete said, hey, I got 8 reps on that. They only gave me 7. So it was a scriber's error with no big deal. They showed us the video, we saw it, we fixed it. So when the day was over, no mistakes.
That's awesome. It's funny how that's seen from a judge's perspective versus a fan. So, as a fan, Clash on the Coast, for example, I watched Anthony San Lorenzo as a fan. So he was doing the overhead medley and I happen to know that the part of that medley that's the best for him is the circus. And he didn't get the Mauser up, like they didn't count his rep and it should have counted. Like I watched it, I'm like, he got it up, it should have counted. And so I'm like messaging him right away after. I said, they robbed you, that should have counted. And he said, I challenged it, they did count it. I said, yeah, they counted it, but they didn't let you get to your best part of that medley. He's like, yeah, I agree. But it's funny, like as a fan, you really you kind of see things through your own glasses, so to speak.
Yeah. Live streaming is great. Don and Nancy Sousa, they did the live streaming for us from ADL. Oh, they're unbelievable. So if they're available to anybody. People want some live streaming done, they'll come out and do it. The guy's got like $80,000 worth of cameras and equipment that he brings with him when he does it, and he does a super job.
That's awesome. Wow. And not to toot my own horn, but Garage Gym Life Media says, everybody buy my blog Strongest Man a coffee for breaking this news. So I'm on Buy Me a Coffee. That's what he's referring to. And I usually put the links in my description. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. He also says Greg and Nicole are the best. So he agrees with the sentiments of everybody in the virtual room here. Kent Altina's here. I love Kent.
Oh, I know. Kent, yes.
Kent and Laura. Now all we need with Iron Podium is the ability to search past results for athletes, but I agree it's a great addition.
Well, I believe when you've competed in a show, that's saved. So when you log in, you can see what you've done in the past. Every show in Iron Podium you've ever done is there for your view. I don't know if it's viewed for everybody else, but now when you go to results, there is a results page we have on UnitedStatesStrongman.com, and you can go look up the results. I was just looking at the national result today. I went to event results, clicked on that because I wanted to get a hold of some people about some invites for the 90 kilo worlds, the 105 worlds over in Finland. And then we've got one of our super heavyweight guys who got invite to Finland's Strongest Man.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. When is Finland's Strongest Man?
It's funny. I look at the calendar for SCL. I've seen July 24th and July 31st. And I keep trying to find out which one is it. So I haven't heard back yet, but it's one of those weekends. The 90 kilo and 105 worlds are September 11th and 12th. Day 1 qualifying events, top 12 go to day 2.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking of that part of the world. Sweden's already happened because Johnny Hansen won it. So that's why I was wondering when Finland would be.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, let's see. World's Strongest Blacksmith. Let's see. I like Central Georgia's Strongest Man. It went smoothly for me, except I was thrown off on the keg press and the stone due to its size. All right.
Sure.
The tags and Iron Podium work so well together. What are the tags that Jacob's referring to?
Oh, he's referring to the athlete tags. So as they complete an event, the scribe would write exactly what they did during that event. So he's referring to how smooth the show ran using the tags to help with the scoring. And then that was turned into Iron Podium. And that's how they were able to update so quickly.
Got it. Okay, so it just helps to identify when you have so many folks running around. I got it.
Yeah, they all have lanyards on, and scores get written on their lanyard and on the scribes. So that way we got a double way to check it. And we got to give props out to our board member, Steve Barkley, for coming up with that back in 2017 Nationals in Detroit, Michigan.
Props,
Steve started
Barkley.
that. It's kind of stuck with us ever since.
Yeah, it seems like a great idea. Let's see. So Kent also says Iron Podium definitely prevents the Google Sheets hell that we had to deal with in past competitions.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Ken Johnson says it does have archives. Yep.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Can we use the archives to double check when people qualify for nationals too?
Mhm.
So, and Iron Podium is actually working on another feature for us to give out automatic invites. So when someone makes a qualifying at a regional show, they'll automatically get an email saying, you know, you've qualified for 2022 Nationals in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Oh, that's awesome. Kind of automate part of the process.
We've given them so many things that we want to add. They're like, they got a list, and that's one's coming up on the list.
I was going to say they've been inundated with all the features that we want added. We're forever apologizing to the Kilgos for, you know, all of our crazy ideas. But I mean, you've got enough state reps under USS that have been doing this for, you know, quite some time. There's many veterans out there, and they've been kind of dealing with a lot of the hiccups that can happen as a promoter. So, you know, the Kilgos have just adapted and given us so many different, you know, updates. It's great. So there is something like as an athlete or a promoter, if you guys are listening out there and you know, want recommendations, the two of them are really great. You know, they'll listen, and you may see some new adaptations coming out soon.
Yeah, year 2 will be even better.
For sure. So we've been talking about some potential shows from Justin, from Liz. Phoebe, do you have any shows on the horizon that you're putting together?
This October, we're doing the Static Monsters USS 2022 qualifier in Virginia, actually again at Brute Strength Gym in Norfolk, Virginia. And that is actually, as of today, it's a 3-event contest with the max log and the max 18-inch axle deadlift. And then for fun, a ladder of natural stone and Atlas stone, where the Atlas stone is lifted to the shoulder and the natural stone is a clean and press. And so we like to throw some interesting things in there. So that's going to be a lot of fun. The next USS show that we are planning would probably be, right now we're thinking a summertime show next year. So either July or August. And then if we can squeeze another one in there earlier, we will. You know, but yeah, that's what we're looking at for 2022.
Awesome. And then, so that Static Monsters qualifier, is that novice and open?
So we're not going to offer a novice class for this particular contest. We almost always do. But this one, because it is a double qualifier for, it's a USS and then it's a Static Monsters Worldwide thing too. So we kind of don't want to go into where we're doing 15 classes. So this one in particular will just be open, you know, and then with the Static Monsters and their classes as well.
Yeah, I mean, I hear. Yeah, go ahead.
To Chad Croft as well. He's, you know, the head of doing Static Monsters. We're also doing it in Jersey in October. So if you take a look on Iron Podium, you'll see a lot of Static Monsters that'll be coming out pretty soon. You can't have any that are too close to one another. So one of the big caveats of Static Monsters is the shows have to be at least 4 hours apart. So me and Phoebe are actually like very, very close to that 4-hour mark. So there's also one in New York. I believe Chris Vaccio is also doing one out in Ohio. So, you know, we're pretty much like the upper East Coast of all the Static Monsters that are coming out. And a lot of us like to pair it with a 3rd or 4th event just so that we can also qualify them for USS Nationals. Because if you're paying to compete and you're paying to do 2 max events, I mean, you should earn it by just adding on a third, event and having a little bit more fun and getting a double qualifier, like Phoebe said. So, shout out to Chad Croft. He's the one that's head of all that.
And these are all on the same weekend.
That's awesome. So,
Worldwide.
Yes.
is that something a pro would compete in or no?
Sure.
Phoebe, specifically yours.
I mean, yeah, it's open to all competitors.
Because I hear overhead stone press and I think Steve Schmidt.
Oh my God, no kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's open to all competitors, pro, regardless of, federation, that type of thing. But as far as being a USS qualifier, it's for 2022 Nationals. And so that's why we put that third event in there, so that they actually do get, they do have to do something more than just 2 static events.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we have right now 3 Static Monsters that are being co-promoted with USS and Static Monsters. We got Liz's show, we've got Phoebe's show, and then we got Ricky's show in Texas.
Yes.
And I want to compete one of them. Now I have to decide which one to go to.
Nice. Yeah, we got it. Who's the rep in Indiana for USS? There's a lot of great athletes there.
John Connor is our state rep up there.
Okay.
In gosh, where is he at? Man, I can't think of the name of the town he's in. But yeah, he does stuff for us in Indiana.
Yeah, because like Christine Matthews, who just competed at Nationals, USS Nationals, she's a good buddy of ours. I'd love to see her get a bunch of these opportunities that are opening up with this new announcement, and she's in Indiana.
Yeah,
So
he's,
Isaac,
Kendallville, Indiana. So,
okay.
maybe we can coax him into putting one on. It just can't be 4 hours close to the next one. So,
Right. Nice. So Isaac, you want to jump in with anything I've missed?
No, I think you have it mostly covered. I know, it's on your channel this time, so I'm letting you run it. I've had to step out a couple times because the kids were crying, but I just saw World's Strongest Blacksmith on a side note saying that he just saw something about someone trying to press the Husafell stone, the actual Husafell stone. Maybe we could get that in a contest sometime. That would be impressive.
So Steve Schmidt's gotten that kind of weight over bar. I don't know how far he is from pressing it.
Well, because the Mauser that they pressed wasn't too far off, right? It was 370, 380, something like that is the record now.
Oh, that's right. He's the record holder there too. I forgot.
Yeah, and the Husafell is 414, I think, pounds, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 417. Yeah.
So maybe we could get some prize money out for someone to press the Husafell stone.
I believe Steve does Chris Bacchio's Static Monsters that he holds in Ohio each year.
Yeah, we'll get Steve. We'll get Athor Melstead, all the great stone pressers to go for it.
That'd be a fun comp. I would want to go and watch that in person, though. I wouldn't want to be watching it on a live stream.
Congrats to Athor, by the way. He just won Strongest Man in Iceland, and he's heading to Worlds in a week and a half. So congrats to him.
Athor's looking strong too. He's made some good progress lately.
Yeah, I mean, he had the misfortune of competing toward the tail end of Hafthor's career, so it was difficult to win that Iceland title. But now it's all his.
Now that Thor's off boxing, he's no longer doing strongman.
That's right. That's right. Any picks there from any of you? Thor versus Eddie?
I think they'll both run out of gas in round 2.
Interesting. Eddie's kind of gas is called anger, though. Does that run out in 2 rounds? I don't know.
I'm telling you, my wife does boxing, and she's like, man, by you like to get through 2 rounds, your arms feel like they weigh 1,000,000 pounds. As big as those guys are, oh, they're going to be hurting.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll tell you. So I tried it once when I turned 40. I told my wife I want to go to Gleason's gym in Brooklyn because it's the oldest boxing gym in the country, and I want to try it out. So I called them up and I said made an appointment with the trainer, and it was really cheap, by the way. Like I was shocked. I thought they would really like try to capitalize on the name, but it was like $15 an hour or something. So I get there and I sign all the waivers, and they said, "Look to your right. So this is your trainer." And I thought it was going to be some house trainer. It was Johan Guzman, 2-time world champion. And so they said, "Yeah, so this is so and so." I said, "Yes, I've seen him on HBO 10 times. I know who this is." And so, the first like 10 minutes was just, foot placement, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And it didn't take long to be gassed. And I'm not 400 pounds. I mean, I can I can really imagine what those guys are going to go through.
I think the one thing saving both of them is they've both lost a ton of weight. So comparatively, they will feel, light on their feet for 5 minutes or so. But we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, they better have 1-minute rounds. That's not their only chance.
Yeah, right? I mean, I did judo and Muay Thai growing up, and like, I was $150 at the time, and you still get gassed. And being 300 pounds now, trying to do, I've tried to do a little bit of sparring and stuff with people now, and I'm like, man, I get 2 minutes in, and I'm like, all right, I need a breather. I don't do this endurance stuff anymore. Yeah.
We all remember when Marius went to Ultimate Fighting. Remember how he came out? He was like halfway through the second round, he was done.
For 30 seconds, he was unbeatable. But if you stay out of the range for 30 seconds, you could probably take him down.
I can run pretty fast. I think I can get around that ring pretty quick.
Speaking of Marius, does 5 titles make him the greatest of all time? What are your opinions?
I would say no. And I'll tell you why. Zadrudas Zavickas. Big Z arguably is probably the strongest guy, but I'll tell you what, if Shaw pulls out number 5, he's got an argument on his hands.
So I'm going to say this right now. Big Z is number 1. Despite what's going on with my video right now, Brian Shaw is ahead of Marius right now, in my opinion. He doesn't have to win 5.
I agree.
Did you see World's Strongest Blacksmith's comment? He just says, "Is Butterbean versus Butterbean?"
Butterbean versus Butterbeaner.
Butterbean was amazing. Don't diss on Butterbean, okay?
Oh, I knew he was the best.
Guy, but
he actually had amazing endurance for a guy that size.
Yeah,
But I like this comment better from Garage Gym Life Media. So he and Justin were going back and forth. They'll basically be holding each other up. It'll sound like a Lamaze class. No, wait, check this one out. So I misread this. They'll be exhausted and hugging by the middle of round 1. I thought it said they'll be exhausted and hungry by the middle of round 1.
Well, I think both apply. Both apply there. Yeah, the clinch is going to be their number 1 defense, I believe.
That's funny.
I think Eddie's only fault is that but we haven't really seen him in a fight yet, so he hasn't done an exhibition or anything like that. But he's excessively aggressive, and so I think with the way Thor usually fights on his back foot, if Eddie's always running into that could go to Thor's advantage. So I think that's the one thing where it's going to be a little bit more of a toss-up. But
I have to give you the opposing opinion. Jessica says she thinks Eddie's crazy enough to win.
Yeah. Well, and I'm rooting Eddie too. I think I don't think Thor has it, even with the reach and everything else. I think Eddie's gonna take it, but we'll see.
I don't see either one of them moving. I just see a slugfest till they're out of gas or somebody gets knocked out.
Well, the other risk too is they're both extremely powerful hitters, and so like if they're making contact, they can do some serious damage to each other too. So that's the other factor you have to think about as well.
I got to tell you, I'm getting to like Jacob more and more as we go through this. Eddie all day.
Yeah, he's Team Eddie for sure.
I just don't want to see them with their heads down coming in like this. I broke up enough of those fights in middle school when I was teaching. I don't want to see that out there.
I was gonna say that.
Hopefully they both had enough coaching by the time the actual fight comes in that they'll look semi like boxers at least.
Jacob says he thinks Eddie can take a punch better. I agree with that. I mean, to Thor's credit, though, like he's improved a lot since he was, sorry to say, terrible when he first started. At least he's, trying to get the mechanics down and really working hard at it. It's just, to me, like Eddie has been offended, like in the deepest way you can offend a guy in this type of career, and Thor is doing it just as let me learn a new skill. It's two different. One guy's angry and one guy's just trying to master something new. It's two different things.
You can't fight with emotions, though. That's one thing. You got to stay calm.
True, unless you're Mike Tyson. He's trying to eat children and whatnot. At least back then. So what do you say, Isaac? Should we wrap it up? I think we're maybe deviating a bit in our comments. And
yeah, we should probably start wrapping it up. I can. Sounds like the kids are kind of being a handful for my wife, so she might want to. I have a 2.5-year-old and an 11-month-old, and it's bedtime, and it sounds like neither of them are really wanting to go to bed at the moment. So I have the door locked, so they can't come in at least. But I should probably go out there and help her out. It's mean to leave her alone.
Yeah, so why don't we give our esteemed guest the final words? Phoebe, what's the last thing you'd like to say to our audience this evening?
Oh, just thanks for having us on. Thanks for everyone who tuned in tonight. I mean, and Nationals was fantastic. I look forward to meeting many more of our athletes. USS is doing some good things, and I'm just really glad to be a part of it. And I'm really honored that you guys, we didn't speak much about the Women's Advisory Board, but me and Liz were voted in earlier this year, or was it this year?
This year, yeah, it started. We had open nominations in January, and then we let people for like 6 months, and these are your top 2 vote getters right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly just an honor to be a part of it, and that you guys, ladies, because I'm sure it was more ladies than anything else, but that you ladies, put us in this position, because it is the athletes. The athletes are the reason that we're here. So thanks, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and apologies for not speaking about that more. Let's do that for a few minutes now, because it is important. So, what is the role of the Women's Advisory Board? And you can both speak to that.
Well, we're listening. We're listening. We're doing something, for the women, where a lot of times, they'll come to us, and they'll express their concerns and that type of thing. Especially with like Pro Women's Worlds and so forth. And we bring those concerns to Willie, and then of course, we're advocates for USS, and we're advocates for the women on both sides. So, we're really honored to be in the position to do that. Willie's done a great job of empowering us in that position. But yeah, I mean, it's still something that's newer. A lot of people, don't really understand what it is that we do. But we're advocates more than anything else, both ways. Go ahead, Liz. I know you were saying something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you said it perfectly. Advocates is one of the best words to use, for this new set of positions. Willie has always had some amazing, board members with Steve Barkley and John Albrecht. I mean, the 3 of them have been just so great in kind of building USS from the beginning. And Willie saw a need for, 2 females to come in and kind of field some of the opinions of females, and maybe some males that would just feel more comfortable, talking with us, giving another set of ears to some of the problems that they see in the sport of strong women in particular. I mean, I know you guys early on in the interview were talking about how, there's not many opportunities and things are improving, but there's always room for improvement. And I think Willie has really embraced that. The board has really embraced that trend, and wanting to be more open and accountable to women. And, already Phoebe and I have, spoken to a lot of females, a lot of males about some improvements that they want, and we've been able to bring about some really decent change. I think this new pro class is one of those things that was kind of mulling around in Willie's head, and the other board members' heads, and then bringing on Phoebe and I, we just really shed some light on some of the problems that are in strong women. And, we're just here as advocates, like Phoebe said. If there's ever any questions that you feel aren't being answered by your state reps, or even for our state reps, if they have questions about weights, because women's weights, we've seen it. Sometimes we're babied. I'm going to be honest. I've done some shows where it's a 32 deadlift, like 32 reps of a deadlift I've literally done in an open class. And that's just unheard of, because unfortunately that promoter didn't understand women's weights or didn't test them. So we're challenging, other promoters and our state reps to look at those weights and really challenge us. We're strong. We can really push some weight. So, we're here as another set of ears to bounce some of these weights off, which some of the men and women have done. Thankfully, we've improved a lot of the shows in my area as well as Phoebe's area across the country even. So we really just want to push the envelope, challenge the norm, improve on things. So I thank everyone for allowing us to do that. We're really excited.
Yeah, that's a great summary from both of you. Any kind of new initiatives that you want to share yet, or like anything that's in the works?
Go ahead, Phoebe.
Other than what we discussed about the pro status opportunities, really just like Liz was saying, the communication has to improve, and it has improved. And as far as what we have coming up for 2022, for the promoters, we really encourage them to reach out to us so that we can make these shows the best they can be for the strong women, without neglecting, we don't want it to be too light. We don't want it to be too heavy. We don't want people going out to shows and zeroing events, unnecessarily. But at the same time, we want to make it challenging. There's a definite range where we need to be. And I think there's a learning curve across the board. I think we have some good things coming up with the new pro class, and use us, reach out.
Does that become like a standard set of guidelines? So if a promoter comes to you and says, here are my classes, what do you advise? And you would say, for these women's weight classes and for these men's weight classes, you should be around this range. Is there kind of a goal of a standard set of guidelines?
I think the best rule of thumb that Phoebe and I have been giving everyone is test your weights. Don't just assume that because, the women in your gym are all indicative of a certain weight class or what have you. Test your weights. A lot of, new promoters have a lot of novice females because we are bringing in so many more people. Just because you have a novice heavyweight woman and a novice lightweight woman doesn't mean they're indicative of lightweight and heavyweight. You can't just assume that. So we encourage people to test, especially in your area, because Texas is way different than Jersey when it comes to local competitors. And then we'll give them, like you said, a set of guidelines. Like, this is what, we have used in the past. This is a really good, height for this throw for females, or this is a really good range, but also test. I don't ever want anyone to just go on Iron Podium and search for another show and, I'll just do that weight because that's what that promoter did. That may not have worked for them. Go back and look at their show, a week later and see, did they have a rep fest or did everyone zero? That's a promoter that didn't test. So, we really, Phoebe and I have been pushing people to test those weights. Just because we give you a range doesn't mean that it's perfect for your area.
Well said. And Willie, I'll give you the last word for the evening.
I'm not used to that. I like what both the ladies said, and we have a rule kind of that we use, and we recommend it to people. We call it a rule of thirds. If a third of your people are around double figures, a third of your people are around middle single figures, and a third of your people are around 0 to 1 or 2, it's a pretty good event. That's a great way to measure it. And what Liz said about people looking at past results, I know a lot of the male promoters in the past and I don't know what to do for the women's weights, so they look at old results. Well, that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And that's another benefit we have of having Phoebe and Liz is I can send, and I do it all the time. I'll send somebody straight to them, ask them about women's weights for lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight, super heavyweight, because they have a much better idea of it than I do. And so it's a huge help. And then the other point both of them made, a lot of ladies are more comfortable coming to them to ask them a question. I think I'm pretty approachable for the most part, but not everybody knows me that well yet, but they do know Phoebe and they do know Liz. So they'll go to them first, which I highly recommend.
Awesome. Oh, actually, one last question in the comments. What's the preferred platform to communicate with the two of you, Phoebe and Liz, if folks want to talk about this topic? Is it Instagram, some other mechanism?
So all of the state reps are actually listed on UnitedStatesStrongman.com. So if you have questions for your specific state rep, we encourage you to go to your state rep first. And if you don't feel that your question's been answered, or if it's a specific like women's advisory board question, our info's right on there. I think I have email and phone. Phoebe probably has the same, but we're very vocal on social media as well. Both of us have Instagrams, which I think have been tagged in all the postings about this too. So it's easy to get us.
Hey, Lauren.
We know Lauren.
I know Lauren. Yeah, she gave me a ride, and my wife and I ride one time for my contest back to our hotel.
Awesome. Great question, Lauren. All right. Well, I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for joining. This has been an awesome session. We had great participation from the audience. Thanks for breaking the news here, Willie. This is we really, really appreciate that. And just reminding the audience, follow all of our guests on Instagram, and subscribe to us too, right? While we're at it, Isaac's at Hunger Smash Fitness. I'm My Blog Strongest Man. Like, subscribe, follow all of our stuff. You three want to shout out your Instagram handles real quick so folks know where to find you?
Yeah, I'm Instagram is Mighty Mommy with 3 I's at the end of mommy.
So my promoter page is US_Strongman_ Inc. Another underscore. I made it super hard. New Jersey. You'll notice a lot of our state reps do that. We just do the US Strongman Inc. and then whatever the state is, trying to keep it as uniform as possible. Phoebe's is the same for her promoter page. So just start typing in US_. You'll find all of us.
and mine's just United States Strongman. It's super easy. And then if you want my personal one, it's just Wessels1.
Awesome. Well, thanks again to all of you for joining this evening. Hopefully we do it again sometime when there's another big announcement. And again, we thank you very much.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.